Alright, so I've spent my fair share amount of time browsing through YouTube, looking at game room tours. I've spent a lot of time looking at collages of game rooms on Instagram, and even had a fun time going on Twitch, watching a variety of different streamers and seeing their background and seeing what I liked and what I didn't like, and really compiling all of those things and pulling and extracting what I did like and thought worked best and implemented them into my own game room. So that's exactly what I want to do in this video, is show you 10 ways to level up that game room. And to be honest, my game room isn't the most advanced when it comes to tech. Haven't spent a whole lot of money when it comes to lighting, and a lot of these different things I'm going to show in this video you can actually do for fairly cheap. So let's jump into this video and look at 10 tips to level up that game room. Let's go. So number one, right out the gate, color. Now, you might mean, okay, well, what do you mean by color? And I actually mean a few different things. First off, choose a color and stick with it, especially when it comes to furniture. Now, I get it, not everybody's circumstance has the ability to kind of pick out one color and get furniture that really coincides with each other, and you kind of have to pull from different areas and different pieces because of money. I get it. Like, so I've seen different game rooms where there might be a brown dresser with a white bookshelf and black, whatever the case is, right? A black desk. And you just kind of have to pull and make it work. What I suggest is making everything synonymous, right? So if you want to go for a white theme or a black theme or just a color palette that works for you, choose one and stick with one. Personally, one of the things that I've actually noticed early on, and I actually caught it from Twitch, one of the things that I really liked is I would see streamers in their background would be all white furniture. Now, of course, on Instagram, you'll see the game room collages as well. And all white furniture was something that really stuck out to me. Like seriously, much more than black. And I love an all black aesthetic when it comes to, you know, bookshelves, couch, and desk. But all white aesthetic made the room pop and made the room just exuberate with a nice look, to be honest with you. And the white went, to me personally, went well with like the RGB lights, which we'll talk about later in this video. But personally, an all white aesthetic is kind of what I went with, and I personally think it looks the best when it comes to game rooms. Yes, you definitely might need to dust a little bit more, but all white game rooms when it comes to maybe a sofa, shelf, cabinet, storage, desk, chair, frames, all of those things, make it synonymous, make it come together. And now, one of the things that I actually love doing is choosing my main color and then accenting it with something else that kind of pairs with it. So in this game room, right, you see in the background screen on the monitors, you've kind of got like a bluish color, and that's kind of the theme that I wanted to accent with my game room, right? So choose one, right? It could be teal, turquoise, pink. It could be black if you wanted to. Choose a color that kind of pairs well with what you're trying to go with. Again, so in this game room, I have a few things that pair well with white, and I chose kind of a baby blue color. So you see here, I have my foam board in the back, baby blue. I've got the desktop background as a baby blue, and I even have this carpet that has this aqua and baby blue color palette together as well. And I think they really do go well. Even something little as like a mouse pad, right? Small, cheap, but just adding that on top of what you have going on can really set that game room apart and really make it just nice. Now, I will admit, I do suggest staying away from browns. And what I mean by browns is like wood, because in my opinion, usually wood makes the room feel a bit old, right? You know, you'll see those houses with like wooded cabinets or just wooded dressers, and they're all kind of different colors of browns. And to me, it doesn't even really look that good. I suggest sticking with all black or all white. Number two, wall shelves. And this is something that you can actually get for fairly cheap, but does a number to your game room. Like, you will absolutely level up your game room because you're filling in that wall space and you're able to kind of start putting some art, some decorations, maybe even some figurines on to these wall shelves, right? And kind of get a display going on. And wall shelves are kind of important again because you fill that wall space in, but you can put your own aesthetic to it. You can put your own unique style, you know, put up a painting that you like, put up some figures, put up some art. You can even do, when it comes to your video game consoles, if you have any portable, get a stand for your portable consoles, put those up on your wall shelf as well. It does really make the room pop, and it actually gives a nice display when you walk in, because the first thing you'll notice is the walls and the shelves. Get some wall shelves. They are cheap and they make the room pop. Number 3, we kind of already mentioned it, but art and decoration. And you don't really want to go overboard with this, and we'll talk about that a bit later. But when it comes to art and decoration, you definitely want to kind of add your touch to the room, right? You just don't want it to be empty. Add your touches to it. I have so many things in here. Thankfully, my wife paints, so she's painted a lot of anime and video game paintings just so I can put them on the wall and stuff that I like and stuff that she likes as well. And they really do go well with the art. There's actually a really cool drawing that I actually got when I was interning at a high school. One of my students drew this Zelda drawing for me, and I absolutely put it in a frame, which we'll talk about too. And I just thought it looked well, and I was like, this is a perfect spot for it. Let me just put it on the wall. Now you could absolutely hang something like that up, you know, by itself. I was like, you know what, I think it looks a little bit better on the wall shelf. But you can even put things like pops, figures, amiibos, and these are all things that I actually really got for cheap, right? So my wife paints, that's free. Even like a flea market, I get tons of small video game figurines and, you know, statues, and even amiibos I found at flea markets for $1 or $2. Sure, they might be even McDonald's figurines, but no one really knows, and you just put them on a shelf and it just makes it that much better. Another really cool thing to actually add to the shelves, the walls, even maybe on a desk, is collector's editions of video games. You know, usually there'll be little knickknacks that you can actually just add anywhere and add to decoration, and that's a great way to kind of build up your uniqueness in the game room as well. And so we've mentioned actually art and decoration, and number 4, this is big, and I see a lot of people missing out on this, and that is not framing their posters. Specifically, you know, you'll get a poster from maybe a collector's edition or just from somewhere, and you wanna tack it up on the wall. Don't do that if you possibly can. One way to level up your game room is to frame it. If at all possible, get a frame. Again, you want to keep in mind your color. So for me, I have 3 Zelda puzzles that my wife and I put together. We glued them together and we put them in a frame, all side by side, as you see here. And to me, it looks so much better if it's in a frame, right? Same goes for posters. Put those in a frame. Again, the drawing that I got from my internship, put that in a frame, right? I'm putting all these things in a frame. It just makes it so much more sleek and nice when you see them actually on a wall. So number 5 is a bit of a fun one, and that is a mini fridge, right? Every gamer wants a mini fridge in their game room, and well, you should do just that. And I immediately had to get a mini fridge in my game room, and as you see here, mine actually has a clear front to it when it comes to the door, so you can actually see through it and see what's in there. And I absolutely wanted that, right? That's the feel that I wanted to go for. But get a mini fridge that works for you. Any mini fridge will do. Pack it up with some energy drinks, pack it up with some drinks that you love, and it just makes the game room a little bit more homey, a little bit more relaxing, and you level up that game room. Now, one of the mini fridges that I would absolutely love is the Red Bull mini fridge, right? You've seen it on commercials, you've seen it probably in a variety of different places, and I'm sure if I look hard enough, I can probably snag one on Facebook Marketplace, but it's on the wish list. The moment I can get one of those Red Bull mini fridges, I'm getting it. All right, number 6, and this is a big one, right? RGB lights, or just lighting in general. I have so many different lights in here, and they're all different. They unfortunately sometimes even have their own controller. So I have like 3 or 4 controllers laying around to turn on these lights. But RGB lights, the good thing about the lighting, right, is with the advancement of technology, these lights tend to be fairly cheap. And now you can go for more expensive ones. We'll talk about some later on, but invest in some light, even if it's just a strip or 2. That will be a game changer, and it does set the atmosphere. Now, as you see here, I also have some of these knick-knack lights. I don't even know what you would really call them, but they kind of just add some flair to them. You know, they bounce off of the wall, and you can kind of see a reflection, or you can kind of see these stars, or whatever the case is. Or even something like this orb that I actually got at Home Depot for like $15 to $20. It's simple, it changes its colors, or I can set a color, and it's kind of this nice shape that just really does radiate through the game room. And hey, only $15 to $20, invest in some lighting, you'll be glad you did. Now I mentioned some expensive lighting, and one that comes to mind is the Nano Leaf, and it's on the wish list, and I'll upgrade eventually, but the Nano Leaf is something that looks amazing on the wall. You can see the quality, and it's such a great lighting system. The look of it is fantastic. I actually had to kind of settle for these cube lightings here for my game room because at the time they were kind of out of stock when I went to go buy the Nano Leafs, but I'll get them eventually, and I've actually seen them in a Best Buy before. I thought it was like an Amazon only thing, but if you check your local Best Buy, you might even be able to snag some there. All right, number 7, dual monitors. Right, this is all about circumstance, but if you have the opportunity, upgrade your monitor to get 2 of them and connect them together, right? Nothing looks better than a nice desk with a double monitor screen. And practically, they do make things so much more convenient, right? You can put a screen over to the next one, especially if you do something like streaming. It's almost an absolute must when it comes to streaming. Get a double monitor set up. I'll also link all of my stuff in this video in the description so you can kind of see what I have if you're wanting to check some stuff out. But of course, get that double monitor, right? The dual monitor screen set up, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not the most tech savvy person. It was fairly simple to set up with my computer, and I've loved it ever since. Number 8, invest in a quality desk that allows you the space that you need, right? I've seen a lot of desks that are just kind of makeshift desks, or they're kind of small, they're too small for what you're trying to work with. You know, get a desk that has some space to it. And now you might say, well, my room isn't big enough. Trust me, this room is not that big. Like literally what you're seeing here, it might look big on camera, but it is not big at all. You can make it work. Get a nice desk that has a lot of drawers, right? So you can see here, I got this desk specifically because I loved the look from it, but also when it comes to the organization aspect, which we'll get to, there's so many drawers that I'm able to actually stuff a lot of stuff in the drawers so that it's not out in the actual open. And we want to talk about space. This desk is so long. As you see, I have the mini fridge on it. I've got the dual monitor setup. And of course, if you do have a dual monitor setup, I do recommend getting like some monitor stands to kind of lift those monitors up, and it just makes that desk look even better. Get a nice desk, you won't regret it. Number 9, the game chair, right? The game chair is essential to the game room, and you know, the game chair has really spiked in popularity. You go into an Office Depot out of all places, and they've got game chairs that you can get. Again, keep in mind your color palette when you get a game chair so that it matches your room. I got the all white aesthetic, so you know I had to get the white game chair, and my wife also has her own game chair, and she chose pink, which by the way, pink pairs well with all white, and that's the thing I love about all white. Another side note when it comes to colors is when it comes to white aesthetic, you can pair any color with it, right? In black, you can kind of do so, but black is kind of like the absence of color. So when you try to pair a color with it, it makes it a little bit harder, but white pops and you can just match any colors with it. So I got the white game chair, and again, choose whatever game chair works for you and choose one that is comfortable to you. Amazon has tons of game chairs, and there's expensive ones out there. Get one that looks good, get one that's comfortable. And even if you're like, I'm not a big fan of game chairs, I kind of like these office chairs that are more sleek, more comfortable, get that. I've seen a lot of great office chairs that look very, very well when it comes to a game room as well. All right, we made it to our number 10, organization. Nothing defeats the game room more than a cluttered and disorganized game room. Organize it, make sure things are in their place. You want to kind of keep a balance, right? This is a small room, but I feel like I've done a great job of balancing space so that way, even when I am trying to display something, it's in a very concise and compact area and it's not just out everywhere. Even something like the consoles, I kept this in mind. I have a lot of video game consoles and I didn't want to just display 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 in a small entertainment center. I wanted to find a way to really showcase all of my consoles in a very clean and organized way. And so I got these cube dressers and they worked perfectly for these consoles, right? So I can plug it in from the back, right? There's not a back, so I can just plug in a console with all those wires and cables. I'm not gonna have to worry about that. And it gives this sleek, nice, organized look to them because each console has its own space. Even something like the bookshelf here, right? So the bookshelf I got, and I purposely got a skinny one from IKEA because I knew, yes, my video game library is growing, but at the moment, I don't really need a big bookshelf. Again, I'm keeping in mind my space, and I got this skinny bookshelf and it works perfectly. I still have a little bit of room to grow. I'm kind of outgrowing some when it comes to the Nintendo shelves, but there's actually still some room I have. And of course, when it's time to get another one, I'm going to get another skinny one and pair it side by side because again, these bookshelves in particular are pretty skinny from IKEA, so even if I did put two together, it would still be smaller than an average bookshelf. And keep in mind too, bookshelves are actually very, very cheap, so invest in some bookshelves for your games, maybe for your manga or whatever the case is. So keep in mind when it comes to your game room organization. Now, I've seen a lot of game rooms that are really cluttered when it comes to even just stuff, right? Stuff is awesome, paintings, decoration, art, it's cool, but when you have thousands and thousands just jam-packed in a game room, to me, I personally don't like that look. Be intentional with what you get, even if you do have a lot of stuff, display it in a way that doesn't look like you're just hoarding everything, right? You wanna keep it nice, clean, spacious. Don't jam-pack it with tons of plushies and figurines and just overflowing with stuff. Keep that in mind. Now, one of the things you should keep in mind when it comes to organization is organization that is not displayed, right? Invest in a cheap cabinet or drawer that you can keep maybe in a closet or behind a door or whatever the case is that will house specifically maybe even your cables, your wires, your chargers. So I've got this cheap little organizer in the closet here, and there's about 4 or 5 different drawers. And everything is in Ziploc bags. I learned this from a Metal Jesus video, right? All of your chargers, all of your cables, all of those cords, bag them up in a Ziploc bag and write what it's for, right? If it's a PS2 cable power cord, write that on the Ziploc bag. If it's tons of HDMI cords, put it in and organize it appropriately. It makes things so much easier, so much more convenient. And sure, no one can see it, but this is your game room. You want things to be in order and easily accessible, organized. So there you have it. That is 10 tips to level up that game room. There's so many more things you could do to level up a game room, but these are just 10 that I thought of and that I've tried to implement in my own game room. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you on the next one.